Hello folks, Reverend Crystal Cox here. Hope you're all doing well today. I'm going to talk to you today about aliens. I find it a little odd that there's still people today who don't believe in aliens or think it's some sci-fi conspiracy thing. Of course there's aliens. It doesn't make any sense that there would be this vast universe out there and there would be nobody else in it. No other beings of any kind. How could this possibly be? Right? I have personally known people who have told me that they have been abducted. Okay? Told me what it looked like inside of the alien craft, and a lot of the stuff was fear-based. I've met these people over 30 years. I've probably met dozens of them. I've met some in Hawaii, I've met some in Montana, some in Washington, some in Oregon, some in Canada, and it just seems to be matter of fact. I've met folks and seen doctors' records from, the people had the records, not the records from the doctors, where they've lost babies at, say, 3, 4, 5 months, and there was no, there wasn't a sac or where the baby had grown, or there was just some sort of an odd activity as if the baby had been removed. So there's a lot of fear-based stuff, and I think as far as channeled information, kind of come to learn that it's there was some sort of experimentation. I'm not sure about all of that and whether it's negative or positive, or whether we're like a human experiment or Earth's a giant garden or what. I know how I intuitively feel, and when I pray and I try to get information, I know what comes to me. I know, like, the Akashic Records is a place where you go and there's like the information of all times, and you can go there spiritually. Or your own subconscious based on lifetimes that you've experienced. Okay, so I know there was a lot of fear around it, and some of these people were really traumatized. So I don't think they were supposed to necessarily wake up. I guess it'd be like waking up during your own surgery or something. So I'm not really sure about all of that. But I am sure that there is life on other planets, and I'm also sure that our government has known about it forever. I have family members who don't read anything spiritual or anything channeled or buy into any sort of UFO conspiracy stuff or follow it or in any way, and talk to me about every fall that the aliens, the spacecraft come. You just see it on the wide open plains. Like you got North Dakota, you got South Dakota, whatever, all of those big plain states. It's a matter of fact, they just come every fall. Okay? I've read some information recently where it's just a matter of fact that the frequencies from these crafts made it so that the rockets couldn't come up. And if you've been to places like eastern Montana, and you've seen where the rockets are underground, they are like in silos underground, and most people don't know that they're there. I've driven around and seen some of those, and apparently they can't launch if there's alien craft in any certain distance. They wonder why, right? So, and it's basically because of the technologies interfere. So the government's known about this forever. It's a matter of fact. But because of whatever these beings look like, they don't want to scare everybody, so they haven't said anything. Really makes no sense, because if they just started to talk about it and not being fear-based, it'd have been like, another form of animal. I mean, if your news, whatever your favorite news is, started talking about a new exotic tiger or an ape, or all of a sudden, dogs that could talk, or some new breed of something found in some forest somewhere was an animal that talked or whatever, or Bigfoot, or, they actually showed you this stuff, I think that people would have, and they didn't come from a fear-based or trying to control society with it. I think people would have understood. Of course, right now they'll understand in any way, shape, or form with all of the examples I just gave, right? But in the same token, why not be able to talk about beings from other planets? I mean, we see the planets, right? We know they're there. Okay, so they don't want us to know about the technology, right? Because if that technology exists, we could go to Hawaii, in 20 minutes. Pretty much probably from any state, right? We got propulsion, which was Tesla's technology. But that's all a lot of inventions are just, channeled in technology from somewhere else anyway. So this technology exists. So part of the secret society, whatever, suppressing the information is not wanting people to know the technology. And I believe spiritually that, if we were meant to know, we'd know. Humans couldn't necessarily handle that information, because if the beings from other planets wanted us to know, they'd make themselves present and they'd know. So they, of course, they deal with our leaders. And so for me personally, it's just been a matter of fact. I've had friends that see him all the time. I've went and watched what I thought might be with some of my friends, but I can't be sure on that. I mean, it could have been really anything. It was definitely something different. But if you read about the Searle generator and some of the Searle technology, those things flying around, people thought that they were flying saucers, and it was just experiments and technology. But it just makes common sense to me that there's life on other planets. I don't think it is fear-based. If something comes here and wants to kill us, they would have already done it, right? If I see an a spaceship land in the yard and beings get out, I will just, pray. I will connect with God, and I will just be loving and of the light. And if they kill me, they kill me. If they come with those intentions. But I'm kind of not so naive as to believe that if some force that has a lot more technology than us gets telepathy, gets their brain power, more than we do, that if they didn't want to take me out, if they wanted to take me out, I'd be gone anyway. So there's no sense in being fear-based, right? I do find it interesting, though. It's May of 2014. And I don't watch TV much at all. I don't watch a lot of news. I certainly don't watch any certain thing at any certain time. So it's interesting that the few minutes I watch here and there, I've stumbled on some things in the last couple months. One of them was Rachel Maddow was talking about when Ronald Reagan was talking about aliens. So I guess this was based upon the story of a Russian ship outside of Florida in the last couple months, because apparently we contract with Russia to get to the International Space Station. And so she had said something about Reagan saying, well, we wouldn't really have an issue with Russia or any country if we had an alien invasion, because then we'd be all one planet, so it would automatically unite us, right? Okay, well, which was a kind of a hypothetical, but at the same time, that those high up in government just know that there's aliens. I mean, it's just fact, and they can't necessarily hide it. I mean, how long can they keep hiding it and keep telling people that see the truth that that just didn't happen? Or, the Men in Black thing, I mean, that's real. I mean, it's certainly not like the show Men in Black. It's a little bit out there, but come on. And erasing people's memories and why, so they can't really keep a hold of this much. So then a month later, I seen The Tonight Show, which I never ever watched. I don't even know how I got on that. But then Clinton was talking about, he was quoting what Reagan said about the aliens. And then I seen this article where some politician in Russia had told Obama that if Obama doesn't tell the people, that they're going to tell the people. Senators, this is May of 2014, so June of 2013, there was some convention where these senators were ex-senators were trying to urge Congress to tell people about the aliens. I seen something a couple of days ago about an ex-prime minister in Canada was talking about the aliens. So basically that they can't keep this under wraps. They can't, the things are surfacing. They can't necessarily keep a wrap on this story, so why not tell? And it seems to be that the American government is holding back. But what it says to me is that all of these different stories are kind of desensitizing people. So we've had movies, we've had all kinds of stuff for all these years to desensitize people, and now it's like all of these different governments and all these little teasers of okay, so we won't be freaked out as a nation, as a planet when it happens. It'll be a matter of fact, So, I mean, not like Independence Day where they come in and just take everybody out. I mean, if they wanted to do that, why would they do it that way? It would seem that they could just have the technology to put something in our water or in our air, unlike our government and chemtrails or whatever, right? I mean, if they wanted to do something to us, it would be done. It'd be in our sleep, be in our water, be in our food. It would be an invisible air. I mean, if they wanted to kill us all, we would be dead. Okay, so why fear it? Okay, fear aliens landing and doing something creepy to us? I mean, our government does something creepy to us all the time. I mean, They keep us from natural cures. They act like we're free when we're not. We're paying for, we don't need gas, we don't need oil, but we're slave to that. I mean, learning to own your own mind is what you do. I mean, you're a soul in a human body. If something is here and you think it's going to kill you, put your faith in God, in Goddess, and just trust that, well, this must be what was meant to be for me, and just, let go, be in love. This is my fate, then this is my fate. But we cannot help but be in fear. And as humans, we're made for fight or flight, right? So if we feel like we're in danger, we're going to run. And it's hard not to react like that at first, so we probably will. But in prayer and in communication with Spirit, with God, with Goddess, we can understand that there is a higher meaning and not be fear-based in whatever it is that we see. And this could be in anything in our life at all, to not come from fear, but to trust in God and in Spirit and Goddess. Because it's just a fact that there's life after death. It's a fact that we live more than one life. It's a fact that we're a soul, we're here having a human experience. This is just our carcass, our human vehicle. Okay? When we die, we still have our thought process. If I was something else, I would still, inside of my mind, I still know who I am. That's true, folks. I mean, when you think of something, sometimes you're thinking of something else. Like, I could be talking to you and making lists of other things I'm going to do and thinking about something else. Okay, you're driving a car and you're making lists of what you want to do, maybe thinking about your dinner, your kids, and you also could be thinking something philosophical at the same time. How are we doing this? How many minds do we have, right? Minds within minds within minds. And would we still have this if we didn't have this bag of bones? Well, yeah, of course we would. Okay, there is only death of the body, folks. So what's the worst that can happen? What's the worst your government can do to you? What's the worst that the bad guys can do? What's the worst the aliens can do? Kill you? Okay, well then you come back. If you have your faith truly in God, in Goddess, in the Great Spirit, then you know that what happens to you is in control by you and your intentions, your prayer, what you want, and you just let go and you have faith. And if you're meant to die by the hands of an alien, or by some rogue cop, or some rogue judge, or some rogue lawyer, or some crazy in the street or the theater, then have faith in God, if that's supposed to be. But always be in prayer and be centered and be, be in control of your mind of what you want. If you don't control your mind, someone else will. And yes, someone else can interfere with your free will at any time. Okay, well, in those last moments, if someone does something crazy and you end up getting shot or something weird happens, and you've done the best that you can to not create that or not want that, well, you have to just, then pray as you're dying and put your hands, literally, your body with God, with Goddess. And I don't mean to act like human life is not to be respected. I'm just saying that human life is not all there is. And of course there's aliens. And with what I've been seeing in the mainstream media, the institutional press, I think that they're letting you folks know that it's time to tell you. So I just wanted to do this little message and say, don't be fear-based. Be Goddess-based. Okay, don't be in fear. Goddess bless you all.